The cafe hums with the clatter of porcelain and the low murmur of conversation. James, in a crisp linen shirt, sits by a sunlit window, his fingers tracing the edges of a dog-eared copy of Siddhartha. His posture is relaxed yet purposeful, exuding a quiet confidence that seems to still the air around him. The aroma of freshly ground coffee mingles with the faint scent of his cedarwood cologne. Across the room, Claire, a graphic designer sketching in her notebook, can't help but steal glances. His focus is magnetic. He doesn't scan the room for attention, doesn't fidget with his phone. He's simply present. Claire's pencil pauses as she watches him turn a page, his brow furrowing slightly at a passage. She's drawn to the way he seems at ease in his own skin, unbothered by the world's rush. Her heart ticks faster as she debates approaching him. Instead, she tears a corner from her sketchpad, scribbles her number, and adds, "Loved your vibe. Coffee sometime." She hesitates, then hands the note to the barista, pointing subtly toward James. "For him," she whispers, cheeks flushing. The barista delivers the napkin as James pays his bill. He reads it, his lips curling into a faint, knowing smile. He tucks it into his pocket without a word, nods politely, and steps into the street, leaving Claire watching, her sketch forgotten, already hoping he'll call. In my voice, I'd say that, my friend, is the art of being, a man who lives so fully in his own truth that others can't help but want to step into his world. The charity gala sparkles under crystal chandeliers, the room alive with clinking glasses and the hum of polished conversation. James weaves through the crowd, his tailored blazer accentuating his easy stride. He's not here to impress, but to connect, his eyes warm and attentive as he pauses to chat with a retired professor about vintage motorcycles. His laugh, rich and unforced, cuts through the din, catching the ear of Sarah, a sharp-witted lawyer leaning against a marble pillar. She's used to commanding attention, but something about James, his effortless poise, the way he listens intently without chasing approval, draws her in like a moth to a flame. Sarah adjusts her emerald dress, tucking a stray curl behind her ear, and sidles closer, catching the tail end of his conversation. She interjects with a playful challenge. "You're telling me The Godfather beats Casablanca?" That's a bold claim. James turns, his gaze steady, a flicker of amusement in his eyes. Bold, maybe, but Casablanca's romance doesn't hit like Brando's intensity, he counters, his voice smooth but firm. Their banter flows effortlessly. Classic films, jazz versus blues, the best dive bars in town. Sarah's wit is razor sharp, but James matches her, never overreaching, his response is thoughtful yet concise. As their debate winds down, James excuses himself to greet an old friend across the room, leaving Sarah mid-sentence. It's not dismissive. It's natural, uncalculated, as if he's simply following the evening's rhythm. Sarah watches him go, her pulse quickening. She's not used to men walking away without clinging to her attention. Later, as the gala winds down, she finds him by the coat check, her confidence bolstered by a second glass of wine. "You didn't let me finish schooling you on Casablanca," she teases, slipping her card into his hand. "Call me so I can win this." James smiles, pocketing the card with a nod, his calm assurance leaving her wanting more. In my voice, I'd say, James didn't chase the spotlight, he was the light. And in that glow, Sarah found herself stepping forward, eager to be seen. The park is a canvas of dawn's soft light, dew glistening on the grass as joggers and dog walkers weave through its paths. James runs at a steady pace, his breath rhythmic, earbuds pulsing with a lo-fi beat that syncs with his strides. His gray tank top clings lightly to his frame, damp from effort, but his face is serene, lost in the motion. Emily, a photographer crouched near a cluster of wildflowers, adjusts her camera lens, chasing the perfect shot of morning light filtering through the trees. She's been coming to this park for weeks, her routine unintentionally aligning with James's daily run. His consistency, same route, same calm focus, has become a quiet fixation for her. Today, Emily's lens drifts from the flowers to James as he passes, his form cutting a clean line against the sunrise. She's struck by how he seems to belong here, not just running through the park but part of its rhythm, like the sparrows or the rustling leaves. Her heart skips as she fumbles her camera, the lens cap tumbling to the path just as James approaches. He slows, bends down, and retrieves it, his fingers brushing hers as he hands it back. "Careful now," he says with a half smile, his voice low and kind, before jogging on without breaking his flow. Emily's cheeks burn, her usual confidence shaken by the brief exchange. She lingers, pretending to adjust her tripod, but her eyes follow him until he disappears around a bend. The next morning, she's back, this time positioning herself closer to his route, her camera a flimsy excuse. She snaps a candid shot of him mid-stride, the image capturing his effortless grace. By the third day, she's bold enough to wave, and James nods back, his expression friendly but unintrusive. Emily's curiosity grows into determination. She starts timing her shoots to intercept him, planning a casual introduction to spark a real conversation. In my voice, I'd say, James didn't chase her gaze, he simply moved through his world with purpose. And in that quiet strength, Emily found herself drawn, step by step, into his orbit. The jazz club is a dimly lit haven, its walls steeped in the smoky echoes of decades past. The air hums with the soulful wail of a saxophone, the crowd swaying to the rhythm of a sultry blues number. James sits at a small table near the stage, a glass of bourbon resting untouched before him, his fingers tapping lightly to the beat. He's not here to be seen, but to feel the music, his eyes half closed as he absorbs every note, every pause. His quiet reverence for the moment is a beacon in the room, unnoticed by most but impossible to ignore for Lisa, the band's lead singer, whose voice weaves through the melody like silk. From the stage, Lisa's gaze keeps drifting to James. His stillness stands out in the restless crowd, his subtle nods to the music, the way his lips curve slightly at a particularly deft chord change. She's used to admirers vying for her attention post-show, but James seems content in his own world, applauding warmly but not rushing to the stage's edge. When her set ends, the crowd's applause fades, and Lisa, still buzzing from the performance, makes her way to his table. "You looked like you were really feeling that," she says, her voice husky from singing, a playful challenge in her eyes. James meets her gaze, his smile easy. "Hard not to when you're up there pouring your soul out," he replies, his tone genuine but measured, inviting without chasing. They talk about the raw edge of Coltrane's solos, the dive bars where jazz still lives, the way a single note can break your heart. Lisa leans closer, drawn by his quiet passion, his refusal to fill the space with empty charm. She's used to men tripping over themselves to impress her, but James just as present, engaged, yet never desperate for her approval. As the club empties, he rises to leave, thanking her for the music. Lisa, almost impulsively, scribbles her number on a coaster and presses it into his hand. "Text me, I want to keep this going," she says, her confidence tinged with a rare vulnerability. James nods, pocketing the coaster with that same unhurried calm. The next day, her phone lights up with his message, simple and direct, and she smiles, already planning their next meeting. In my voice, I'd say, James didn't reach for her light, he simply shone his own. And in that glow, Lisa found herself stepping closer, eager to share the warmth. The loft is warm with the glow of string lights, the scent of roasted garlic and rosemary wafting from the kitchen where James stirs a simmering pot of risotto. His place is understated but inviting. Hardwood floors, shelves lined with vinyl records and books, a turntable spinning a soft Miles Davis track. The table is set for 5, simple yet elegant, with mismatched plates and candles flickering in mason jars. James moves with ease, his navy sweater rolled to the elbows, a quiet confidence in every gesture. Tonight, he's hosting a small dinner, and his guests, Claire, Sarah, Emily, and Lisa, are due any moment, each having found their way into his orbit through their own pursuit. The doorbell chimes, and Claire arrives first, her sketchpad tucked under her arm, a bottle of red wine in hand. She's nervous but bright-eyed, still charmed by that napkin moment in the cafe. Sarah follows, her lawyer's poise softened by a playful grin, ready to reignite their Casablanca debate. Emily, camera slung over her shoulder, steps in with a shy smile, her park encounters with James fueling her curiosity. Lisa arrives last, her singer's charisma filling the room, her eyes locking on James with the familiarity of their jazz club connection. Each woman, in her own way, has chased this moment, drawn by James's quiet magnetism. Dinner unfolds with effortless warmth. James serves the risotto, his questions thoughtful, his laughter genuine as the conversation weaves through art, music, and half-forgotten dreams. He listens more than he speaks, his presence anchoring the room without demanding its center. Claire shares a sketch inspired by the cafe. Sarah challenges James to a mock trial over dessert. Emily shows a candid photo from the park, blushing as James compliments her eye. Lisa hums a melody that pairs with the wine. They're all drawn to him, yet he never leans too hard into any one connection, letting the evening breathe. As the night winds down, James walks them to the door, the city's hum filtering through the open windows. Each woman lingers a moment, hoping for a private word, but James remains gracious, thanking them with that same serene smile. They leave, their laughter echoing down the hall, each carrying a spark of possibility, wondering when they'll see him again. He closes the door, returns to the table, and pours himself a final glass of wine, the record still spinning. In my voice, I'd say, James didn't chase their hearts, he simply lived with his own wide open. And in that space, they found themselves running toward him, each step a choice, each choice a story.